Nigeria is our second biggest market overall in the entire world, so it's definitely the biggest in Africa. The next would be Ghana, right? South Africa, Kenya, various other North African countries fill out the rest of the top 10. Why are they buying Bitcoins in Nigeria? Okay, so it's great. So this is a great example of the true use cases, and I have to credit the Nigerian people because they taught us a lot, right? So some background. So Nigeria is currently suffering from 11% inflation, right? And about a year ago it was even worse. It was now 25%, right? So this was happening because we're in the era of the currency wars, right? When the dark state doesn't like you, right? They attack your currency and they start rapidly devaluing it. They've been doing this around the world. They did it to Zimbabwe, they're doing it to Venezuela, Argentina, Turkey. It's just a constant thing. We are in the era of the currency wars. So the Nigerian people needed a way to preserve the value of their wealth. And a lot of them saw Bitcoin as a way to invest in something. So we call that wealth preservation, and that's one of the true use cases of Bitcoin, right? So people want to pay for things, but in the West, we all have credit cards and debit cards, and we can use them and buy stuff anywhere, and they'll send it to us. It's pretty easy. But in a lot of places in the world, South America, Africa, Southeast Asia, it's not quite so easy, right? Even if you have a bank account and you have a debit card, there are limits. For example, in Nigeria, the limit on most debit cards was $100 USD a month you could spend online. That's absolutely unworkable situation for anyone in the West. And if you're rich, they raise it up to $1,000, right? So one Nigerian user coming up to me and he's like, well, this was online, customer support. So this guy wanted to buy an iPhone X. So contrary to what a lot of people think, people in Africa do have money, they do have wealth, there's some brilliant people here, and they just want to be able to use it, right? So he wanted to buy an iPhone X, but his bank limited to $100 in USD a month. So he's not buying an iPhone X, which is like $1,100. He's not buying any iPhone for that matter, right? So basically I told him, okay, if you get Bitcoin, you can basically sell it to a guy and he can send you money via Alipay. Alipay is like the PayPal of China, right? And then from there, you can buy an iPhone X off AliExpress, right? And that's exactly what happened. So he got around the capital control by using peer-to-peer finance. And that's really what this is about. Bitcoin is just a small building block of this peer-to-peer financial revolution. I'll give you guys another example, also from Nigeria, and this is something the Nigerian users taught us. So buying cars in Nigeria, in America and Europe, and selling them in Nigeria for 500% profit is a big business, naturally. It's a pretty good business. I might want to get into it. However, because of the currency wars, the Nigerian central bank stopped converting Naira, their local money, into USD and letting them send them out, because they wanted to hold on to the USD and euros for themselves, for the government's own purposes. So all these small entrepreneurs and medium-sized entrepreneurs that were doing this import business, they couldn't continue their import business anymore. So, and they figured this out themselves. So one guy, he wanted to buy a Land Rover. It's like 92 Land Rover from Manheim Auctions in Detroit, right? So I told him, okay, do you have Bitcoin? He's like, no, but I can get it. And I was like, okay, well, if you have Bitcoin, you can basically sell it to someone in America and they can pay the bill for you with their bank account. Whether it's, sending money to your bank account in America, or if you don't have one, they can send the money to anyone else's bank account, auction house included. And he said, really? He tried it and it worked. And then his business was restored. He got around the blockade imposed by his own government using peer-to-peer finance. See, Bitcoin itself is not enough. There has to be that network of people that will exchange Bitcoin, educate people, and use Bitcoin on a daily basis. And we bring that together. That's the second miracle of peer-to-peer finance. The first was this peer-to-peer electronic cash system, right? So we've gone over two use cases, wealth preservation and payments, right? Other use cases, e-commerce, right? People who sell goods online, right? Say someone here in Africa, and I actually met a very smart and beautiful African entrepreneur, a lady, and she made clothes in Africa, and she sold them to ladies in America and Europe. I asked her, okay, what's your shopping cart? Can I see it? She's like, oh, I just have an Instagram account. I was like, how do you get paid? She said, well, I have a friend in New York, and he's from here, and I just give everyone his bank account number, and then he converts it and sends me local money at his bank account, our mutual bank account back in Africa. And I was like, wow, okay. So what happens to everyone else, though, that does not have that magical special friend, right? They cannot get a Visa and MasterCard merchant account to accept payments online because they don't have an American or U.S. corporate bank account, and they don't have that unless they have a corporation in America or the U.S., right? So all these entrepreneurs are cut out of the circle. Now here comes peer-to-peer finance to the rescue, right? She can accept Bitcoin, and then from there she can easily turn it into cash in her bank account through peer-to-peer finance. Blink of an eye. So this e-commerce use case is going to grow more and more as the space matures, as people learn about their options, and as more people get Bitcoin as well.